The story begins with an innocent girl named Abigail, who is practicing ballet entirely alone inside an empty theater. But what she has no clue about is that a crew of ruthless criminals is outside, prepping to kidnap her. Their hacker shuts down all the security cameras in Abigail's home, while a sniper quietly takes his position on the roof. After finishing her dance, Abigail walks out of the theater and gets into her car, totally unaware that the criminals have already planted a tracker underneath her vehicle. The moment her car rolls forward, the kidnappers tail her. Meanwhile, the hacker breaches the system to unlock the house doors, and 3 criminals slip into Abigail's bedroom, hiding behind the furniture. Among these thugs is a woman named Joey. When Joey realizes they are about to kidnap a young child, she immediately objects. She had a strict rule about never getting involved in jobs with kids, but the rest of the crew intimidates her into shutting up. Moments later, Abigail gets home, and the second she lies down on her bed, the criminals strike from the shadows. One guy tries to grab her, but Abigail jams a sharp pencil straight into his hand. As she fights back, another guy lunges forward, tightly covers her mouth, and restrains her. Enraged, the first thug is about to slap Abigail, but Joey steps in, stopping him from laying a hand on the girl. Joey then steps up and injects Abigail with a sedative, putting the innocent girl into a deep sleep in seconds. Meanwhile, the rest of the team waiting outside in the getaway vehicle alerts them over the radio that a car is heading their way. Without wasting a single second, the 3 inside stuff Abigail into a body bag and quietly escape through the window. Just as they cross the garden with the girl and link up with the sniper from the roof, the mansion's security alarm suddenly blares. Sensing extreme danger, they have to scramble. Luckily, the remaining 2 crew members pull up in their van right on cue, and they all manage to make a clean getaway. On the road, they check Abigail's pulse to ensure she's still breathing, and tightly blindfold her. Down the line, as they approach a police traffic checkpoint, the panicked hacker tells the driver to take another route. But the driver is incredibly slick. He suddenly swerves the van, hides it right behind a massive truck, and completely evades the cops. Eventually, they reach their destination, a desolate, creepy-looking mansion miles away from the city. There, they meet Lambert, the mastermind who hired them all for this kidnapping. After locking Abigail in a bedroom and tying her to a bed inside the mansion, Lambert lays down the ground rules. No one is allowed to use their real names or talk about their past lives. This is strictly a 24-hour gig, so all they have to do is babysit the girl until her wealthy father transfers a massive $50 million ransom. Lambert refuses to tell them who the girl's father actually is. For security reasons, he confiscates everyone's phones so they can't be tracked. Before taking off, he hands out new code names to protect their identities. The moment Lambert leaves, the crew cracks open the expensive liquor inside the old mansion and starts celebrating, completely oblivious that their joy is about to be short-lived. Drunk on the alcohol, Dean gets cocky and tries to guess everyone's past lives, but he fails miserably. Joey steps in, takes the bet, and instantly exposes everyone's background just by analyzing their body language and clothes. She reveals Frank is a former police detective, Peter is a mafia muscle, Sammy is a spoiled rich girl, Rickles is a sniper, and Dean is a crazed driver. In retaliation, Frank takes a shot right back at Joey, correctly guessing that she is a recovering drug addict. The criminals had laid all their secrets out on the table, but the most terrifying truth was still waiting for them behind a locked door. Later, Joey goes to Abigail's room to check on her. Seeing that Abigail's blindfold and handcuffs are way too tight, Joey loosens them and cuffs her hands in the front instead. Joey gently reassures her that they won't hurt her, locking it in with a pinky promise. Joey mentions she has a son of her own, but Abigail responds by telling her that they made a massive mistake, adding that she is sorry for what is about to happen next. Hearing a 12-year-old girl apologize to her kidnappers like that was a dead giveaway of an oncoming disaster. Worried, Joey tells Frank, who immediately storms into Abigail's room to interrogate her. The second Frank hears Abigail utter her father's name, Christophe Lazar, his blood runs cold. He races back to the group and drops a massive bombshell. This girl is the daughter of the most dangerous underworld don on the planet. Sensing immediate danger, they lock down all the doors to the mansion. That's when bizarre things start happening inside the house. Dean plays a prank by drawing on a sleeping Peter's face and then heads down to the basement kitchen. Out of nowhere, an invisible force grabs his leg and violently yanks him into the darkness. Hearing a noise, Sammy heads down to the basement and finds Dean sitting quietly at a table. But the moment she walks up to him, Dean's head cleanly detaches from his body and rolls off. The gruesome sight makes Sammy instantly vomit in terror. The rest of the crew rushes down and they immediately think of Valdez, Lazar's most lethal and ruthless enforcer, who was notorious for executing people like this without leaving a single trace. Panicked, they rush to check on Abigail, who was completely safe in her room. Rickles, terrified out of his mind, runs to the main entrance to escape escape, but as he throws open the mansion door, he finds a heavy steel gate blocking his path. Peter tries to use his muscle to bust it open, but his actions trigger an automatic security system that instantly seals all the windows with thick iron plates. They are now completely trapped inside the mansion. Joey immediately realizes this isn't a coincidence, it's a meticulously planned trap. Meanwhile, Rickles goes to grab his gun, only to find it completely missing. Joey sprints back to Abigail and demands to know if she saw anyone else near her room besides Frank. Abigail flatly denies it and cries, claiming Frank threatened her, saying he actually works for her father and that his real name is Valdez. Joey and Rickles compare notes and decide they need to find another way out of this hellhole immediately. But the moment Joey turns to leave the room, she catches a strange, unnatural noise. She spins around only to find Rickles standing against the wall in a completely bizarre position. As Joey steps closer, the horrific truth hits her. Rickles has been brutally slaughtered, and his lifeless body suddenly collapses right into her arms. Fueled by a mix of rage and terror, Joey sprints downstairs and draws her gun straight on Frank. She fiercely accuses him of murdering Rickles, but Frank desperately tries to defend himself, swearing he's innocent and claiming the girl is intentionally turning them against each other. In a fit of rage, Frank orders Peter to go upstairs and execute Abigail once and for all. Peter storms into the room and is just about to pull the trigger on Abigail, but Joey rushes in right behind him and stops him cold. Suddenly, Abigail effortlessly slips right out of her handcuffs. She casually performs a chilling ballet step and exposes her true, monstrous identity to everyone. She wasn't an innocent little girl at all, but a lethal, bloodthirsty vampire. Abigail immediately pounces on Peter, pinning him down. Desperate to save him, Frank unloads a hail of bullets directly into Abigail, but to their absolute horror, her wounds instantly heal themselves right before their eyes. Joey fires her gun too, but the bullets don't even flinch her. Facing certain death, the crew bolts from the room and barricades themselves inside another part of the house. The terrifying realization finally sinks in. The legendary, merciless enforcer Valdez, who had been wiping people out for Lazar all these years, was actually Abigail herself. To make matters worse, the mansion's doors and windows were now sealed behind 2-inch thick steel plates, making it completely impossible for Sammy's computer to hack the system. Left with no other choice, Frank and Peter start breaking wooden furniture, sharpening the splinters into makeshift stakes. But Joey flat out refuses to help them with their plan, knowing damn well that killing Abigail would only bring the wrath of her powerful mafia father, Christophe Lazar, down on their heads. Armed and ready, they head back to Abigail's room, only to find it completely empty. Suddenly, a creepy, echoing music starts playing throughout the mansion. Following the sound into another room, their jaws drop at the gruesome sight. Abigail is casually slow dancing, using Dean's mangled corpse as a partner. Enraged, Peter rushes forward to tackle her, but Abigail effortlessly slams him into the floor and rips the crucifix chain right off his neck, leaving him badly wounded. The Holy Cross didn't even faze the vampire. Frank tries to blindside her from behind, but Abigail easily snatches his weapon and turns it against him, stabbing him in the leg. Defeated and bleeding, the crew scrambles back downstairs to save their lives. Once downstairs, Joey reminds the group that the sedative injection they used during the kidnapping actually worked on Abigail, and they still have one single syringe left in their medical kit. They quickly map out a plan over the radios. Whoever spots the girl first will alert Joey immediately, so she can rush to the scene and inject her. While hunting for the girl, Sammy wanders into a dark, filthy corridor. Out of nowhere, a swarm of bats aggressively swarms her, causing her to lose her footing and plunge straight into a deep pool packed with rotting corpses. Screaming in pure terror, she frantically crawls over the decaying bodies to drag herself out of the nightmare. Meanwhile, having seen Abigail's monstrous form, a panicked Peter runs for his life and locks himself inside a room. But Abigail shatters the heavy door in a single blow and relentlessly stalks him while elegantly performing ballet moves. Running blindly down the corridor, Peter accidentally collides with a door Frank had just thrown open and plummets right over the railing to the floor below. Abigail then targets Frank, pouncing on him and violently hurling him down the stairs. Seeing a perfect opening, Joey lunges forward to strike Abigail with the sedative, but Abigail violently bats her hand away, sending the syringe flying across the floor past a locked iron gate. Suddenly, Sammy blindsides Abigail from behind, desperately trying to restrain her, but Abigail spins around and sinks her fangs deep into Sammy's arm, pushing through the pain. A battered Peter uses the last ounce of his strength to return to the fight, tackling Abigail to the ground. Joey acts fast. She scrambles under the gate, grabs the fallen syringe, and drives it straight into Abigail's neck. As the drug floods her system, the lethal vampire girl passes out cold. They had managed to survive the monster for now, but Sammy is completely losing her mind in terror, knowing that Abigail's bite means her body will soon transform into a bloodthirsty vampire. A little while later, Abigail regains consciousness, only to find herself trapped inside a heavy cage. Joey demands to know the way out of the mansion, promising they'll set her free if she talks. But Abigail just laughs maniacally, revealing that this entire setup was a trap she orchestrated, and that Lambert has been working for her all along. She then starts exposing everyone's real names and their dark, hidden pasts one by one. She reveals that Sammy stole millions from her own parents' bank accounts. Peter ripped off his own mafia crew. Frank ran illegal operations while wearing a police badge, and Joey was an army doctor kicked out for a severe drug addiction who accidentally killed a gang member during surgery. Every single one of them had crossed Lazar at some point. Abigail explains that she hunts down her father's enemies just to win his love and attention. She then drops an offer on the table. Whoever lets her out of the cage walks away alive. Blinded by greed and survival, Peter steps forward to unlock the cage, forcing Joey to pull her trigger and shoot him dead on the spot. The rest of the group abandons the room, but Frank stays behind. Frank corners Abigail alone, cutting a dirty deal. He'll set her free if she gives him the escape route. Abigail plays along, telling him that pulling Agatha Christie's book in the library triggers a hidden door. But even after getting the answer, Frank betrays her and leaves her locked up. Enraged, Abigail unleashes her supernatural strength, shattering the cage door to pieces. Just at that exact moment, Joey rushes back into the room and starts frantically smashing the wooden planks off a nearby window. As soon as the sunlight hits Abigail's hand, her skin blisters and bursts like melting wax, and she flees screaming back into the shadows. The surviving crew bolts for safety, crowding right beneath a beam of sunlight pouring in through a high library window. Sammy stands in the light and doesn't burn, letting out a massive sigh of relief that she hasn't turned into a vampire. Frank immediately runs over to the bookshelf and yanks the book, but nothing happens. Abigail had lied straight to his face. Joey tells Sammy that she wanted her share of the money just to return to her son and secure a fresh start, a total reset. Hearing the word reset gives Sammy a genius idea. She realizes if they can locate the mansion's main power grid, they can override and unlock every single door at once. They split into two separate groups to hunt for the power source. Suddenly, Abigail blasts that creepy music through the house again. Because of the earlier bite, she takes complete psychological control over Sammy's mind. Right before their eyes, Sammy transforms into a ravenous vampire. Savage attacks Peter, drains every drop of his blood, and leaves him to die in pure agony. Abigail uses her supernatural powers to control Sammy like a literal puppet. When Joey and Frank arrive, Sammy flaunts her terrifying new monstrous form. The duo runs for their lives, scrambling back toward the library with Sammy chasing them down with vampire speed. Using Sammy's vocal cords, Abigail taunts them, screaming that she absolutely loathes this room because centuries ago, this was the exact spot where her father turned her into a monster. Joey acts fast. She grabs a highly reflective silver platter and deflects the beam of sunlight directly onto Sammy's body. The second the light hits her, Sammy's body violently erupts into a massive explosion. Sammy's death triggers a hidden door to slide open. Joey and Frank rush inside, stumbling into the mansion's secret control room where they find Lambert, who had also been turned into a vampire. Lambert instantly grabs Joey by the throat, revealing that 2 years ago, when Abigail found out he had helped Frank, she turned him into a monster as a punishment. Since then, his only job has been to lure Lazar's enemies into this death trap. He drops the bomb that he has already called Lazar, and the big boss is on his way. Lambert secretly wants to assassinate both Abigail and her father to rule the underworld himself, so he offers Frank a chance to become a vampire too. Blinded by greed, Frank accepts the deal. Lambert knocks Joey unconscious, then sinks his fangs into Frank's neck. After drinking Lambert's blood, Frank mutates into an incredibly powerful apex vampire. Lambert orders him to drain a newly conscious Joey, but Frank's mind was way too cunning. He blindsides Lambert, driving a sharp wooden stake directly through his chest, blowing Lambert up into a shower of bloody chunks. Abigail walks into the room right after, but a freshly turned Frank completely overpowers her, pinning her down to drain her blood. Seeing her chance, Joey crawls to the control panel, shuts down the mansion's entire security system, and snatches her phone back. She tries to bolt, but the main exit of the secret corridor was still deadlocked. Helpless, she sends a final voicemail to her son. Suddenly, Frank tracks her down and hurls her back into the library, launching her across the room into the furniture. Desperate to survive, Joey throws a barrage of heavy punches, but they don't even flinch the vampire. Just as Frank is about to deliver the killing blow, Abigail rushes in and shields Joey. Weakened from having her blood drained by Frank, a desperate Abigail begs Joey for help, promising she'll let her return to her son completely safe. The two of them team up to fight Frank, but the vampire's supernatural strength is just too overwhelming. In one swift move, he slams Abigail to the floor, drives the sharp wooden stake straight through Joey's shoulder, and pins her to a massive wall pillar. Joey screams in agonizing pain. Frank then pins Abigail down again, sinking his fangs back into her neck. Writhing in pain, Abigail manages to raise her pinky finger, reminding Joey of their pinky promise. Frank yanks Joey off the pillar and sinks his fangs directly into her throat. After the bite, Frank uses his new vampire thrall powers to control Joey's mind, ordering her to execute Abigail, but Joey was completely faking it. She suddenly spins around and delivers a massive, violent shove that sends Frank flying. Joey quickly scoops up the heavy wooden stake from the floor, knocking Frank down. Working together, Joey and Abigail use every ounce of their remaining strength to drive the massive stake clean through Frank's chest, triggering a violent explosion that shreds Frank into pieces for good. Joey is absolutely terrified that the bite will turn her into a monster, but Abigail reassures her that since the master vampire who bit her is dead, she is completely safe. Keeping her word, Abigail allows Joey to walk away unharmed. But the second Joey turns to leave, a heavy, intimidating hand clamps down on her shoulder. It's Abigail's ruthless father, Lazar himself. Furious, Lazar wants to slaughter Joey on the spot, but Abigail steps in, acting as a human shield for Joey. She tells her father that Joey saved her life and stood by her when her own father wasn't even there. Lazar yields to his daughter's wishes, kisses Joey's hand out of respect, and lets her go. Gathering what little strength she has left, Joey walks out of the mansion and climbs into the front seat of the getaway van. She finds her last remaining lollipop, cracks it open, and lets out a massive sigh of relief as she drives far away from that living hell. And with that ultimate escape, this terrifying story comes to an end. Let me know what you guys thought of the video down in the comments, and definitely do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.